Hi, I'm Terry White, and I'm a gardener. That's what I list as my first occupation. Several things might follow it, but I'm a gardener and I design my life. I design my life for me. I'd love to share that with you now. Come on, let's go. Moss is a big part of my design and my life, and you'll start seeing it as we meander the pathway up to the big moss garden. But please enjoy. I built this pathway about 2 years ago, and the moss is just now starting to really come in. And you'll notice hydrangeas. This is the Annabelle variety. I've propagated most of these myself over the years. I have over 600. And in 3 to 5 days, it should be glory out here. It's one of my favorite times of year, and I just really can't wait. I have bird feeders. Birds, they sort of are the songs that everybody listens to on the radio that lay down their life. Bird songs lay down my life. And I even have a giant owl sculpture for a little movement in the garden as well. Oh, he's gonna fly a bit for us. And down here on the right, you'll see a little memorial that I have set up for some beloved family members. And you'll also see some beautiful green fuzzy moss. It is actually not a real moss. It is called Scottish moss, but it's green. It looks like moss, so I love it. And now we're going to make the treacherous path underneath the magnolia tree that's always littering and dropping, but I do love this tree. I am working on this path leading up here to the moss garden, but the view from here, you see a small rose garden that I've just put in. This terracing is all new. And yes, those are wine bottles on the side of the summer house. And yes, I did drink most all of those. Here's a closer view of the rose garden and the herb garden in the bottles. And I place rosemary throughout the garden because I love the smell. It's also supposed to help keep you from getting Alzheimer's. So, you know, if it works, that's great. But you can see the moss is young. This garden, I really started planting moss in February. So it's only been about 3 months. But I have water because water is also part of my soundtrack of life. These 2 ponds are new. I did them when I did the terracing. And anybody can have a pond. Just dig a hole and stick a pond in. The main moss garden is, to me, most beautiful this time of day if the sun is shining because of the dappling that you get from the trees. We'll take a walk down through there in just a moment, but I just wanted to show you the front of the summer house that I'm still working on the steps. But you'll see vertical moss on the doors, on the rolling barn doors. And then those awnings are made out of copper boot trays. Just some things I had on hand. I also built this table this weekend, envisioning there's a wedding in my future of a stepdaughter of mine, and it's a few years away, but we need a bar. And lots of little follies here and there, and just mostly things that I find for cheap and have a vision for and can come up with something. I love the French weather vane though. But now we get into sort of the main part, and many people would call this a moss lawn instead of a moss garden. I prefer to think of it as a moss garden because it has so many other elements in addition to just the expanse. I call this just the pathway. But you'll see lots of orbs. I live in a very angular postmodern house, and I think the orbs and boxwoods were the periods at the ends of run-on sentences, and that's why I have this fascination with orbs. I have about 13 different kinds of moss, maybe more. You know, they're very difficult to identify, but you'll see more hydrangeas off to the left, and more moss. This particular orb is not a concrete orb, but one I made out of sphagnum moss, and then pinned the moss to it. After a short period of time, the moss knits together and becomes, you know, quite sturdy, or doesn't fall off. I also love a beautiful rock covered in moss, a beautiful shape and a beautiful moss, and can't resist carrying those home as well. I carried this whole vignette home from my brother's farm in Georgia. Some of my favorite mosses. I just love the lime green of the Glaucum albidium. And I am not a moss expert, so, you know, if I'm wrong, shoot me. But as we go on down this time of day, this becomes shady, and this becomes sunny, and it's the only time of the day that this section down here is really sunny. But you'll see that the focal point is a sundial that was made by an artist in Maine who finds things and puts them together, repurposes. He's the ultimate artist repurposer. But the sundial actually works, and we have sun on it. And it says it is 2:15. Almost 2:20, 2:30. But that's just a quick tour of just one of many of the gardens and follies that I have around the property. I have lots of energy and more time these days to focus on the projects that I want to do, and I hope you'll join me again and look at some of the other things. I'm Terry White, and I'm here to say, design your life. You're in control.
Be sure to subscribe to Terry's channel, Design Your Life by Terry White. You can also follow him on Instagram @VeryTerryWhite, or visit us on the web, veryterry.live. Thanks for watching.